we will start with brief chanting. Chanting to really to sort of invoke a sacred presence, if you will. For Buddhists, we said that invoking the presence of enlightened beings, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. But it's also a way to cultivate one's motivation. It's a sort of finding a purpose, meaning behind this particular activity for this hour we will spend together. So, in that way, as the monks do this chanting, you can also spend that moment to either, in your own way. I'm sure that you have certain spiritual connections, so you could spend this time to really to attune to such spiritual meaning, the purpose, the presence, but also to finding some purpose for this activity here, and that can be to cultivate certain inner mental skills that may be very crucial for our lives, for the flourishing, for the betterment of our individual quality of life, but also to be an instrument of well-being, peace for others as well. So we can kind of spend this time. And then I will say a little bit about the nature of the meditation that we will do. And then we will do meditation together. It will be a guided meditation. And then at the end, we will dedicate any merits, any benefits arising from the meditation together here, that collective merit we will dedicate to peace, to healing, harmony, and happiness for all beings. So let's begin with kind of bringing that sacred presence and cultivating the motivation of the adjusting our kind of purpose and meaning for this activity of the meditation for this hour. So the meditation we will do this morning will be cultivating the mindfulness. The mindfulness in the sense enhancing our capacity to be in the present. Enhancing the quality of our focus. Now, the benefit of having a greater capacity to be in the present, benefits are many. On a very immediate level, this can be seen as a way for reducing our stress, calming our body and the mind. When we can place our attention in the present with a certain degree of alertness, this metacognition or the introspective awareness, if you will, just this second order attention, if you will, to attention itself. That allows us to monitor if our attention is in the present or has wandered off to some thoughts, some memories, some sounds, feelings, emotions. So that we can notice such distractions and be able to bring the attention back to the present. By relating to those various distractions, distracting thoughts, feelings, various stimuli, the sounds and so forth and so on, non-judgmentally, without kind of reacting blindly by pushing away or holding on to them, but rather recognizing, acknowledging those thoughts, feelings and so forth, and just gently choosing making the choice of bringing the attention back to the breath and then sustaining it from one breath to the next. We know that our lives are quite filled with various challenges, various demands on our time, various needs and so forth. And it is natural for us to be thinking about all kinds of things that happened in the past or that what might happen in the future, particularly as human beings with this increased capacity of thinking. It's very easy for us to be in our head. And also particularly in a fast-paced lives that we live. Here it's much more likely that we will be very active mentally. And many of these anticipations, many of these the memories that we kind of engage, they do come with certain emotional values. And when it happens, then we get caught in those emotional dramas, if you will, emotional issues. A little trigger, just a remembrance of an event, can lead to a certain impulse emotional impulse, that if we are unable to recognize and let it go, such an impulse, like a little spark, can become a big forest fire that can consume our health, that can affect the quality of our life. So we know that the focus, that our capacity to be in the present, our attention to be in the present, is extremely important for us also to do things more effectively. Because without our attention present, we can't, any task that we are involved, we can't do it properly. Awareness is very important. To intentionally be able to place our attention in the present or with a certain task is an important factor for us to do things efficiently. As for the students, for example, if they are engaged in certain assignment, if they are engaged in a certain to get certain assignment done, but then if the attention is constantly distracted by the different things that come into the cell phones, like the different kind of the sounds, and then that constantly takes your attention to those text messages, or the constantly this impulse to check what is there on the Facebook posting, and then how many likes and dislikes, and so forth. And then with those kind of things can lead into then all kind of other, like that I not value, how popular or not I am. All these issues can be quite stressful. It is true that this sensory stimuli are quite distracted, but the emotional issues are much more difficult to let go. That when we are trying to do things, whether playing a sports or doing reading or doing certain work at your desk or having a conversation with a friend, whatever we do, if our attention is not there, and it is, if it is distracted by certain emotional issues that we were struggling with, it's much difficult to let go of that, to disconnect with that. And then that's what kind of is the symptom of lack of resiliency. A certain triggers an emotional kind of experience, emotion in us, and then if we are not aware of it, and then remain stuck with that, we know that how being emotionally kind of stuck drains us out of our energy. It even depletes our immune system to fight with the diseases and so forth. So it's very helpful to be able to notice various distractions, be able to disconnect ourselves from such, to bring the attention more fully in the present. I think it was a research done from Harvard University where they did this survey by asking people randomly, that with random kind of questions throughout the day that came through the phone, just simply asking, what are you doing? And then the second question, where is your mind or your attention? So someone could be cooking, that when this sound goes off, that is the cue for asking, what am I doing? I'm cooking. But where is my mind, my attention? That could have been somewhere else. So through that they found that actually 50% of the time our mind is wandering. wonders. And just looking at how lack of attention contributes to the various forms of the problems, like particularly this emotional, our inability to regulate, manage our emotional issues. They conclude that wandering mind is an unhappy mind, that because there's even neurologically you can they have an explanation for that. They find that when we attend to a certain task, with our attention there's different circuits in the brain that lit up. When our mind wanders, often to what's called the default, the brain circuits responsible for this, the default mode, they lit up. In the default mode, one is preoccupied with oneself. What happened, what should have happened, what did not happen, why this happened, why this person is so mean to me and that, and all these kind of dramas that keep playing. Default mode, they say, is all about me. And we know that the more self-absorbed we are, more kind of, we focus about what is there for me, what is about me, that the more unhappy we are. Self-absorption kind of narrows our focus just on me. And then we miss those others' needs who are around us. If a player is playing that, if it's all about me, then how are they going to play with others around? In a family, if a member of a family is so self-absorbed, they're going to be not considerate of other members. It kills our empathy and compassion. And that's what Daniel Goleman, the author of Emotional Intelligence, says, that self-absorption kills, based on the various findings in social sciences, in psychology, in the neuroscience, that you find that the more self-absorbed we are, more unhappy we are. The more narrow our focus becomes. There are a lot of studies that show that the more pro-social we are, the more attuned to others' needs and concerns and interests, the greater sense of happiness there is. We are social beings. From the very birth, we're dependent on someone's kindness, someone's attention, someone's touch. So as a social animals, we thrive when our social connectivity is strong. There is a sense of connectedness with others. The more we become focused on ourselves, we're cutting off those connections with others. So that's why a simple ability to be more present allows us also to be more aware of our own thoughts and feelings and emotions, and thereby to manage, to regulate them better. But also, it's the more awareness of our own, more attuned, we are with our own thoughts, feelings, and so forth, that we will be better attuned to others' interests, others' needs, concerns. So therefore, the greater compassion, caring for others as well. So that's why training in attention is really helpful. As people in education, for example, in the primary education, the educationists we are recognizing the importance of these skills. Some economists call these soft skills, or the non-cognitive skills, that our ability to have greater focus, better self-control. These are more, it seems that studies seem to show that they are actually more important than what the kind of the standard IQs. The number of studies seem to show. We know that from simple kind of studies like the marshmallow studies also, that the children who are at age of 4 or between age 4 and 8 in another study, the Stanford study with 4 years old, when they were tested with their impulse control, the ability to control their impulse, by asking them to wait to eat this marshmallow until the researcher comes back to the room. If they do that, then they will get 2 of them instead of. And then one day they measured that who is able to wait how long, because it's very kind of enticing, right, for these marshmallows for the little kids, maybe for us too. But how long they could wait when they tested. Those who scored higher in impulse control wait longer. When they are when they were 10 years after, as they were entering in the college for the college entrance exam, they did better than those who scored lower with self-control. As high as 210 points higher than the others on average. Not only that, in the much larger study over 1,000 people involving, that's done in New Zealand, those who were given some strategies for this impulse control, this instant gratification, it's really a problem. This is we can if you are addiction is part of having lack of self-control, impulse control. That is, I want to do something, whether it's to go to shopping or to reach out to drug or some kind of instant gratification that we seek. But when these children from age 4 to 8 were given some strategies to develop this greater control over their impulses, and then when they were tracked down, when they were in the 30s, what they found was that those who were higher in their ability to control their impulse, they were doing better in their 30s, all the important measures for flourishing, from the economic status, their relationships, that how long they are, how good their relationships are, marriage status and so forth. The criminal activities, that how, low in terms of getting trouble with the law enforcement and so forth. The behavioral problem like addictions and so forth. In all these accounts, those who had greater control over impulse were doing better. So that therefore, we can say that greater impulse control is good for our well-being, our flourishing. It's also characterized by what is called the cognitive control, our capacity to keep our attention where we want it to be. And now, this capacity is important in the sense that if in everyday life, we encounter many ups and downs. We live with people, we work with people. Some people are friendly to us, some people are sort of neutral, some people are not that friendly to us also. Some people do certain things that we don't agree to, and so forth. In all those situations, and then also that we have this tendency to kind of project far into the future and then to remember far in the past, kind of bringing back, reliving those gone events and so forth. If in all the situations, if we are unable to kind of notice such that what kind of emotions and so forth that trigger and be able to regulate, manage, then it will affect our relationship with others. It will affect what we do. It will affect our quality of life. So simple practice, mindfulness of breathing, simply to bring our attention to the present, to our breath, finding our breath at the nostril or at the abdomen, and just with that little sensation that unfolds with incoming and outgoing breath. By attending to that from one breath to the next. Meanwhile, being attentive to our attention as well to the breath, so that we can notice when the attention becomes distracted to some thoughts, feelings, sounds and so forth, then we can gently bring the attention back to the breath and then sustain it from one breath to the next. That is something that we can develop in formal meditation. These are like the muscles, attention muscles, literally like the muscles we can build in the gym, for certain, strength. Same thing, the attention muscle we can cultivate can enhance our cognitive control, impulse control, greater awareness, so that into day-to-day life we can notice when certain things trigger certain impulses, emotional. Then we can notice and be able to let go and bring the focus to what we are doing. So let's do this briefly. We will start with a brief chant here to just to kind of get us to this meditative state of mind, and then we will do about 15, 16 minutes of meditation here. Then I just please take a moment to adjust your meditation posture. If you are sitting on the floor, on the cushions, to place our body in a stable and still position, you may want to cross your legs in a comfortable position. But if it is not comfortable, just sit in any comfortable way you can sit. If you are sitting in chairs, you may place your feet flat on the floor to give your body that stable and still position in order to help with the stability of the mind. In order to maintain the clarity of the mind, the wakefulness in our meditation, let's place our back in fully upright position. Perhaps initially even to kind of stretch a little bit, making the back fully upright position. And then let it settle in that position, just gently resting in that position. Hands can be just palms gently resting on your knees or thighs, or hands folded and placing the folded hand in your lap, whatever of these two hand positions feel more comfortable to you. Placing the shoulders in a level position, just slightly raised, slightly pulled back initially, and let them settle there. Head slightly inclined, so the chin slightly tucked inside. Eyes cast downwards, leaving slightly open, just vacantly cast downwards, in order to maintain the wakefulness or the alertness of the mind again. But if it is too distracting, then you may close your eyes. And lips and teeth in natural position, gently touching. With these physical postures that help us with the clarity and the stability of the mind, let's bring our attention to our own body, attuning to our own feelings. Just for a minute, briefly scan your body and the associated feelings from the top of your head down to the feet, all along. If you notice any tensions like tightness in your shoulders or neck or chest, or just the feeling of distress, this uneasy feeling that you feel in your guts, the heart. As you scan your body and feelings from top of head down to the feet, just make note of those if you notice such tensions and distressing feelings at various parts of your body. And then here let's take one round of deep and deliberate breathing slowly, bringing the breath all the way down to the belly in order to release those tensions, relax our body and mind. Take a deep breath through the nostrils as you inhale. If it helps, just even feel like you are inhaling this refreshing airs and energies, rejuvenating energies. These airs filling your body, particularly where you felt those tightness, tensions, distressing feelings. Feel that they melt away those tensions and distressing feelings. And as you breathe out, just again slowly, gently as you exhale, with those outgoing breaths, feel all those tensions and distressing feelings. They all evaporate, exiting through your nostrils with the outgoing breath, thereby allowing your body and the mind to find that ease and relaxation. With this initial relaxation of body and the mind, let's take a moment here to connect with our breath, to find our breath where you feel that sensation of the breath with in-breath and out-breath most clearly. For some, you may feel it at the nostrils as you breathe in and out, like little subtle tactile feelings that unfold with in-breath and out-breath, perhaps little coolness with in-breath, cool, and then as the warm airs exit, little warmth. Or at the abdomen, with the in-breath as the belly rises slightly, with the outgoing breath where it flattens. For others, it may be at the chest, where the lungs fill up with in-breath, and the outgoing breath, they're empty. Just take a moment to connect with your breath at one of those spots on your body. And once reconnected or attuned to our breath, that unfolding sensation of the breath, at one of those places, just gently direct your attention at that spot to connect with the breath, and just rest it with each incoming and outgoing breath, aware of that in-breath and outgoing breath. If it helps, just mentally counting each cycle as one. As you take the first breath, just mentally registering as one. aware of in-breath and outgoing breath. And as you breathe in again, just make a note of this as second breath, aware of that in-breath and outgoing breath. In this way, just one breath at a time, see if we can be fully present with our breath for 5 or 7 cycles of incoming and outgoing breath. When you reach the 5 or 7, you may begin again with 1. While cultivating the quality of our attention by sustaining it from one breath to the next as we breathe in and out, do maintain a certain degree of inner alertness. That's like this second order attention that allows us to monitor if our attention is still with the breath or whether it becomes wandered off to some thoughts, some emotional issues, some memories, sounds and so forth. With this introspective awareness or alertness, as we notice such distractions, just let go of any judging of them as good or bad, without reacting by pushing them away or holding on to them, but simply acknowledging, noticing them as thoughts, feelings and so forth, and exercising our choice of bringing the attention back to the breath. As we reconnect with the breath, as we bring our attention to the present moment, connecting with the breath, that unfolding sensation of the breath, then once again, one breath at a time, placing our attention fully in the present from one breath to the next. As we sustain our attention here in the present, from one breath to the next, maintaining this inner alertness. If at times, if we notice that our attention to the breath, that sensation of the breath, has become dull, the fuzzy, without a certain degree of laxity or the sleepiness, just slightly increase the intensity of that focus on the breath, just slightly increasing the intensity, increasing the focus on the breath. If needed, place the back once again in fully upright position, adjusting the back to bring it in fully upright position. And if one needs to clear that dullness, the sleepiness, take one deep breath like initially we did, bringing the breath all the way down to the belly. And then as you exhale, with that outgoing breath, clearing that dullness, the sleepiness. And then just placing our attention in the present with that sensation of the breath at the nostril, at the abdomen, or at the chest. Then again, one breath at a time, just sustaining our attention in the present for 5 or 7 cycles of incoming and outgoing breath. as we conclude our meditation here, let's take a few moments to share the benefits of this meditation. Any benefits arising from this meditation here, this collective benefits, let's dedicate these to peace, to healing, to happiness and well-being for all beings on this earth. Thank you. And have a great day.